Hello and welcome to another video. This is going to be concerned with some financial function, mostly is how to create amortization table. First of all, let's go ahead and do some of the uh, known function, the PMT function, which is referred to as the monthly payments, because we're going to be using that in order to display all the different payment for the duration of the loan or the mortgage. Let's assume that we have a loan for a house, and this is the loan, say $300,000. This is the price for the house, assuming that we already took care of the down payments and fees and all the type of the transaction that required before we get to that point. So this house is probably worth a lot more than $300,000. And let's say this is the interest rate that they're going to charge us, 4.5%, and we're going to pay that within 30 years. Typically, before we do anything, we need to look for the monthly payment, which is the PMT function. The PMT function is, you could start PMT and hit the tab key. It's going to ask you for the rate. Here we go. So you could move that in order to remind you. The rate is a monthly year, so a monthly payment, but the rate is yearly rate, sorry. So we have to divide that by 12, and the number of the years is 30. However, we are paying also a monthly payment, so we have to multiply that figure by 12. And the last thing is to put the loan, which is the amount of the money that we're going to borrow from the bank. So this is going to result into 1,520.06 monthly payment. I'm going to go ahead and create now a table to keep track. My answer to the question that crosses my mind, how much interest I have to pay over the 30 years. And based on the fact that this is going to cost me this much for a month, but that's 360 month. So we're going to also do some tricks, maybe remind you of some of those that you're already familiar with. So this is the month. Month is going to be from 1 to 360. I don't want to really type 1, 2 and drag it all the way down like I usually do that. Here we go. But I don't want to scroll all the way down to 360, so I'm going to do this trick, which I'm going to click using the right mouse, and I'm going to drag it down and take it up and let go of my right click. And of course, here we're going to say series, and I'm going to go ahead and say it's column, not rows, and I want it to be linear, and it's going to go from step value 1 to step value 360. Okay, and here we go, it filled it for us all the way to 360. If I just want to make sure that it did cover all the way to 360, what I'm sure it did, I would press control arrow, and now I'm going to press control arrow up, or the upper arrow or up arrow. So also I could go ahead and push that everything here to be centered. And now we're going to say here, this is the beginning balance, and this is going to be my monthly payment, which is PMT, and this is going to be the interest that I have to pay out of that payment to the bank, and this is the principal, which means the actual payment toward the house, and this is end balance. Okay, and I'm going to be a little bit neater by going over this and do the wrap text. And this is going to, before we do anything, I need to really change this into a positive value. So I'm going to put that minus in front of it, because remember that the PMT calculate the function as a negative value since it's a debt. So I'm going to turn it into a positive value. And I'm going to say here the beginning balance is basically this, okay? And the monthly payment, which is this, however, I gotta press the F4 to lock it so it doesn't change along with me because I'm going to be using it repeatedly. The interest rate, it's going to be this amount of money multiplied, open parentheses, that rate, which also I have to lock, knowing that I'm going to be dragging the fill handle, and that is divided by 12, of course, because this is a monthly payment. And here we go. This is basically, I could go ahead and grab the formatting. And it's going to be all the way here, formatting with the dollar figure. So I'm paying actually 1,125 out of 1,512, 20.06 toward the interest. And the principal is going to be this one here minus this one here. So what goes toward my actual payment or actual my house is only $395.06. Of course, the balance at the end of that month is going to be this minus this, which is it's going to take that little money from the house value. And now we're starting with a new. It's going to be equal this one here, and the PMT is going to be the same. So we're going to go ahead and drag it, and these are also going to be dragged the same because the same calculation would be applied. So we're using relative address. We're taking this, since we locked the 4.5, it's not going to really scare us. And now, very simple, since I have a value here, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 360, I only wanted to make one thing, which is really 2-click here. And notice, if I could go all the way down by taking control down, it's going to take me to this cell, which is going to be 0. If it doesn't show 0 here, that means something wrong in my calculation. So I'll be done by the house payment by the year or the month 360, 30 years from now. However, I wanted to go ahead and get curious a little bit how much interest, total interest, I have to pay for that total interest. Interest. Sorry. And I'm gonna go ahead and press. Here we go. Ignore all. Ignore this. Everything is fine. Interest is misspelled, and my hand should reach my. All right, let's continue with this. So this is the total interest, which is going to be the sum of all this. Pressing the Control Shift up or down arrow, sorry, and hit enter because this is going to finish that for me. Here we go. I'm paying $2,470,220.113 in interest. So this house is going to cost me the original price. It's going to be the $300,000. So my actual payment is going to be the sum of these two, and it shows you this is really what costing me 30 years from now. Of course, there is inflation, there's all that sort of things. Bank need to make money, but just got curious over the period of 30 years how much interest you're going to go. If this is to pay, if this is actually turned out to be 10%, it just slight. I mean, even like 6%, not 10%. You will notice that the interest rate is going to be higher than the actual value of the house, just to show you, and how little you can actually reduce your payment if you do actually get a lower interest rate. So this is very critical for you to play with this value to see what will happen. Also, one thing you could play with If you got like, go back to our original value, which is 4.5. If I ended up adding $200 every month to my payment, and now it's, instead of being 1,526 cents, I'm going to go ahead and click all that all the way down in order to see when it's going to turn to negative or zero, to see where I'm going to be paying the house if I do pay $200. Here we go. We start turning into negative here. So by the month 229, which is going to be 229, actually, I'm sorry, 292 divided by 12. So the year 24th will be able to pay for that house if I do pay $200 every month extra. You could pay like 1,000 extra, you could pay 500. You will be able to play with those numbers in order to get you to see how your calculation. So you don't have to really stick with one thing or the other. Look here, by paying $500, hopefully you'll be able to see that we turn into actual $4 here, negative by 226, meaning 226. Of course, this here, we could go ahead and do the calculation here, 226, and that's going to be divided by 12. It's 18 years. Well, thank you for watching this video, and we're going to continue with other videos in the future concerning financial functions.